There is a very special kind of GMAT question called data sufficiency. In the whole GMAT exam, you might see 5 to 7 of such questions. They're located in the Data Insights section, which itself consists of 1/3 of the total score. In turn, the data sufficiency questions can have a big impact to your final score. These are the choices in every data sufficiency questions. They look very intimidating because they are. But the frustration doesn't come from math, it comes from the logic. So what can we do about it? There are a few common ways, but I still find them not very satisfactory. One of them is called the Elimination Grid, which usually expressed as ADBCE. Another one is a very complicated flowchart. Students will need to remember these very complicated flowcharts to get to their final answer. The third one is a mnemonic called 1 to 10, but it doesn't provide a very clear procedure of how to find the answer. And also, I think this wording is a bit confusing that it creates the so-called C-trap. So all of them works, but they have these shortcomings. And the main barrier is the cognitive load it gives to the students, so they can't focus in math itself. I invented a new way called the Crypta DS Truth Table. And this is the paper I published about this method. I personally think that it is easy to use, flexible in procedure, and it helps you to focus in the math. In the following, I will use 5 examples to show you how to solve data sufficiency question using this truth table method. Let's start with example 1. When we read the question stem, there are 2 parts we need to recognize. One is called the condition and the other one is called the requirement. Now this is important. One DS question is actually 3 questions combined together. The first one is under the assumption of the condition and statement 1, is it possible to meet the requirement? Second, you ask the same question but about statement 2. And the third one is when you assume the condition and statement 1 and statement 2, is it possible to meet the requirement? So we will decide the sufficiency for each of the following cases, and then we can match it up to find the final answer. So we need 3 boxes to help us keep track on our progress. For the first box, the condition tells us that x must be 2, 4, 6, 8 or so, and the statement 1 tells us that x must be less than 3, so the only possibility is 2. We don't need to write down the number 2, we don't even need to know the answer is 2. We just need to know that it is sufficient. So it is a pass in box 1. In box 2, the condition tells us that this is a positive even number. Statement 2 will still give us 4 choices, so it's not possible to meet the requirement. It's a fail. So we put a cross in box 2. If any of the previous boxes is a pass, then the third box will always be a pass, based on basic logic. But the third box here doesn't matter, because it has already met our condition for A. It's a pass and a fail, so the answer is A, 1 only. Now example 2. First box, statement 1. X can be 6 or 12 or 18, so it's fail. Second box, C and 2. Because 2 is the only positive even prime number, so it's determined. Failed and pass, it is B, 2 only. Third example, this is the most interesting one. Split up the 3 cases. Everyone else will force you to start from statement 1 only. But with this method, we can actually start from the third box. We can easily see that X is totally determined in the third box. But it doesn't mean that the answer is C. It just means that the answer is not E. Then we just need to go back and fill in the first 2 boxes in any order we want. But of course, both are failed this time. So, fail, fail, pass. Indeed, we have C this time. Now, example 4. First box, x equals to 2 or minus 2. But because the condition tells us that it is a positive even number, we can reject x equals to minus 2 here. Second one is also very easy. The answer is 2. Pass, answer is D. Last one, statement 1 is not sufficient. Statement 2 is also not sufficient. And when you combine them together, it's still a failure. It can't determine what is x. So triple failure here, answer is E. So this is the method, the CryptoDS truth table. You just need to draw 3 boxes. Decide pass or fail in any order of the 3 boxes. Remember that a pass in the third box just means the answer is not E, but it still can be A, B, C, or D. And then lastly, you do pattern matching. We can still have the mnemonic 1, 2, 10. Just remember that T is together only, which means fail, fail, pass, instead of just a pass in the third box. I hope this method can help you in GMAT exam. God bless you.